Boom. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Here with another episode of the C Squared podcast. It's been a couple of weeks since we last chatted in Paris. The last one was with Danny Wrench, and we had a nice ride from the tournament hall to the hotel. Good conversation. Some interesting thoughts by Danny, but of course, you were in the middle of a tournament, which went somewhat decent, I would say, but still plenty of things happened since. Fabi, how's it going? Where are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm in Spain.
Spain, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's going all right. It's just resting a bit. It's yeah, the Grand Chess Tour is starting soon. Well, actually, did start already, but I'm not playing the first event, so I'm just taking a break before my first event. But they started today, so the Grand Chess Tour is going on. That's the big one. There's a lot of events, but that's the big one going on at the moment. Yeah. Besides that, well, we were playing all the Fisher Random. That's it's very weird now. It's like I had like a month-long period. I played chess every day pretty much, and I didn't look at any chess. I didn't work on chess.
You looked at
It's
freestyle
very
chess.
yeah, there's nothing to work on. And you don't check out like what am I gonna do? Check openings and then play Fisher Random in the meantime? I mean, so I basically took a month period where I just didn't check any openings.
It's interesting, right? It's a completely different world, chess world, than what we were used to. Not only that, you have like freestyle, which is starting to become a thing in the chess world. Definitely something to stay, and definitely something that top players are going to play for a while. But just the switch from one format to the other, now you add in freestyle chess. Like, what do you even focus on whenever you have some free time? Do you still work on chess? Do you still rest? Do you start looking at freestyle chess positions and try to acclimate yourself with those type of adventures? Like, what do you even do as a player nowadays?
Well, it's funny. Hikaru was at some point joking. I don't know if joking or maybe he's serious that obviously I had worked and analyzed a lot of Fisher random positions, clearly, which I've never done, of course. And the closest I've gotten to actually working on any Fisher random chess or freestyle, I guess we can call freestyle for everyone to understand what we're talking about. Um, is that I played blitz games and occasionally checked like the evaluation of the first move. And then not really committed it to memory very much, although on some rare instances, I have gotten positions that I've played in Blitz, so I've known kind of something about them at least. I remembered some vague details. And usually that memory fades very quickly because there's too many positions and we play a lot of different positions. A lot look very similar, very familiar,
Mhm.
but you could just mix up like one piece placement. So I've never done any systematic work on freestyle. That's for sure. Because it's not really necessary. And because I think just by practicing a lot, by playing games, you get a decent feeling for what you're trying to achieve in the opening. So like I tend to feel like I know what I'm doing, looking for at least in the first few moves, and I'm not going to go and try to memorize hundreds of positions, um, which is it has very diminishing returns, and it's still just part of the type of chess I'm playing. And I feel like okay, it's not super useful. Like the games rarely come down to the opening stage as long as you play sensible moves, right? You can get a bad position, but not too bad if you play sensibly. And I think people tend to be a bit careless on those starting moves. That's why they sometimes go wrong. The people who have more experience, like Magnus, for example, like myself, tend to, as we saw in the open tournament, tend to have a better feeling for like the starting moves.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a random mess very often. Anyway, this is the nature of chess, especially when you get low on time. Uh, but definitely, like I haven't worked on freestyle. My work is the same usual work that I do, when I have time to do it, which is mostly opening work and trying to discover new things.
But that's opening work in classical chess, in normal chess, right? Now things are just simply changing. Like For example, okay, you as an established player, I would say you already have somewhat of a routine. It's not going to get impacted too much. But let's say for a player that's like 2600, trying to go up through the ranks, trying to make it to the elite, what should that player focus on? Is the question. And I'm not even sure what the answer is to. I guess still just classical chess and trying to increase your rating and then play some freestyle Fridays and try to qualify for the freestyle events. But as you just pointed out, and I think that's kind of an important thing to do, you guys have so much more experience right now. And this is something that Magnus was saying as well, like the players that are playing regularly the freestyle events. He was saying that you guys got much better compared to the first time you played freestyle like a year ago. Just much better. You can assess the position much better. And this is kind of, I mean, we can go into the change of format that's going to come for the next event based on that. But this is something that he mentioned. You guys got much better. You have an advantage because you played regularly. Like, what does the 2600, 2650 focus on right now? You know, rapid, classical, freestyle. Which one? Which one is
2600. I mean, you're only playing classical chess really, for the most part. Like, assuming you're a professional 2600, which is a very tough spot to be in. But let's say maybe you're young and you're trying to improve. I mean, there's not really money at the 2600 level, in chess in general, unless you're willing to, take your chances in the online scene and perhaps, go above and beyond, and then you might have a very good career. But like for the most part, it's mostly classical chess if you're 2600. The freestyle events are a few a year. There's one open event. It's probably very low equity in terms of what you're actually going to earn there. It's the prizes were very good, but it's huge competition. And for example, my score was very reasonable, 7 out of 9. It was second place, shared 7 ways, using a very strange system to determine prizes called the Horde system, which splits part of the money evenly and then part based on Sonnenborn Burger. But in any case, like, it's not that much money. I mean, I had a performance that very few people would have a chance to make, and I got a good prize. But half a point less, which was still a good performance, got like $500. So that one event a year is obviously not, that's not a money making event for.
I think this is what Grigory was saying. He was playing Grishuk the last one, and whoever would have won that one would make like 15K, which is very decent. And with a draw, he made like nothing, basically 500.
Yeah, that's, I mean, 6.5 out of 9, which is a perfectly good score. And a lot of players like Maxime, like Wesley, Levon, I'm not even sure if they made 6.5 out of 9, but they were under the 7-point score group, which was the last money making score group.
Yeah.
And first place obviously was 9 out of 9, Magnus, which was once happens once every few decades, I guess.
You think so? I mean, he only played one over 2700.
No, I mean, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's still 9 out of 9. It's not like he dropped half a point. It's true that he played Vincent. He played Parham, who I would consider basically a 2700 player, even if he's maybe a bit below.
Yeah.
He did play some guys like Ralph. It's also clear at some point that people were getting very intimidated because, well, not Parham. I mean, Parham doesn't seem to ever be intimidated, but Parham tends to take the game into kind of crazy territory, so that's also a bit random. But I mean, he was playing great, but also people were getting scared, clearly. Like how a Wonder lost to him, was kind of felt like the position was normal, and then suddenly, from nowhere came this mistake. But still, it's a pretty historic result. I do think that in general, the tournament seriousness was diminished slightly because it wasn't rated. I think that when you have a big open tournament and you have a lot of people who aren't playing for money, maybe they have some hopes, but you drop like 1.5 points early on. Most of the people have done that at some early on in the tournament, and then they're not really playing for any money at all, and they're also not playing for rating. And they tend to, they'll still like play seriously, but they don't tend to care as much. So it like the stakes are not that high. For the top guys, yeah, the stakes were pretty high coming into end. Everyone was trying really hard, but you did see some like weird games. Like uh, there was this game, Vincent against Sergei Movsesian, where the game was over. White lost in like 14 moves. I mean, there were people who like were losing in 10 moves. Very strong players, you know. Jan, for example, that's some of his games near the end when he was no longer fighting for much. He was routinely like getting lost position on like move 3 with either color. So it did feel like you need a rating system, something that people can play for even if they're out of the money.
Yeah, that's a
Like in classical chess, we value the rating so much that even a game where there's no money on the line, people will take very seriously because it really matters to them. Am I 2680 or 2675? Am I 2775 or 2770? Am I 2620? All these points like matter very much. The difference between half a point in a game, the 5 points, will be very significant for people. It might be the difference between Olympiad qualification or not. It might be the difference between being number 1 in your country or not.
yeah.
It might be the difference between making the Grand Chess Tour or not. So it's people take it very seriously. For the freestyle, until we have a coherent rating system, which maybe they'll implement at some point, um, it does like slightly change how the tournament progresses.
Yeah, no, for sure. For the moment, it feels like the whole concept of freestyle is being run like a startup. You basically just throw things at the wall and see what sticks and try to improve based on that. Try to improve based on the feedback that you get from the people and from the tournaments that you're running. And it seems like this is what they're doing. Like they're changing the format after one tournament. It's obviously not going to be a world championship worthy tour anytime soon. At least not until, as you just pointed out, you have a rating system, you have something that players in general fight for. But yeah, it does seem for the moment it's just being run as a startup, and I kind of like it. I mean, look, it's something that, especially with the Open that you just mentioned, the Grand Prix Classic. First of all, I don't know if I think this is only one, yeah, one per year. I don't think there's
As
a
far as I know, for the moment, it's just one.
just
Because they also
event.
it was a joint venture, and although Freestyle put up, as far as I know, put up quite a bit of money, the organizational side was heavily managed by the Grenke people. So the setting up a playing hall with thousands of chessboards and so on.
But they used to have this type of numbers, even in classical chess, right? Like last year, for example, or like 2 years ago when Hans
As far as I remember, they've had less.
were there.
They've had like 4,000 people in the past. Like they've had like 4,000 people playing this event, different sections and so on. So like it was always the biggest open in the world, which made sense that why they combined their efforts. And with some caveats, I thought it was a good event, overall.